Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting and welcome to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit educational but also a massive warning to make sure that you stay on the right side of the law. I have two pretty much identical Benelli M2s here, and looking at them, really you couldn't tell the difference, and I'm sure many Americans and American subscribers and viewers are going, well yeah, they're just two Benelli shotguns, but they're not. One is not a shotgun under UK law. However, for the purposes of making this video as simple as possible, I will still refer to it as a shotgun because, well, it is technically. The one here on my left is a restricted capacity Benelli M2, so you can only put two in the tube and one in the chamber, meaning that it is a section 2 and that you require a shotgun certificate to own it. The one on my right is not restricted. As you can see, it has the extension tube and is the only real difference between the two guns. And because it's not restricted to two in the tube and one in the chamber, it is therefore classified as a firearm and in UK law is not a shotgun. However, I will refer to it as a section 1 shotgun, just to make things as hopefully as understandable as possible. Now, why is this so important? Well, section 1 shotguns and even long-barreled pistols are not covered within the exemptions to be able to share under club certificates. So if you have a Home Office approved club within the UK, there are exemptions, meaning that members can use and borrow guns under that license. And going even further, any member of that club with an FAC and their own guns can also lend under the club exemption to other club members. And it's actually one of the exemptions that I use quite regularly to still be able to shoot without a license. And it's fantastic. It means that people interested in taking up the sport can actually try a variety of different guns, a variety of different disciplines, without going out and having to get their FAC or even go out and buy their own guns. However, section 1 shotguns and long-barreled pistols were sort of left out and excluded from this exemption, meaning that you cannot share them. Even two people with an FAC each and the same section 1 shotgun on their license, so one has one Benelli M2 unrestricted and another has a pretty much identical Benelli M2 unrestricted, they can't actually under UK law share each other's guns. And the same is true for long-barreled pistol. You can only shoot the section 1 shotgun or the long-barreled pistol that is written on your license. Now, people can share them if they are written on the license. So the biggest example for this are couples. There are a number of couples on the competition circuit. That is the only way in UK law that people are able to actually share the same section 1 shotgun or long-barreled pistol. And I hope by some miracle you are still keeping up with me. Now, I have the quotes here from firearms law to hopefully clarify even further where this confusion comes from. So definitively, the word shotgun within UK firearms law means a smoothbore gun not being an air gun which either has no magazine or has a non-detachable magazine incapable of holding more than 2 cartridges. This is then further clarified in another quote from the firearms law, which says references to shotguns in the 1968 Act may be taken generally to mean section 2 shotguns rather than those subject to sections 1 and 5 of the 1968 Act, otherwise stated. So there it is in black and white. That is the definition of shotgun. Basically, anything that is unrestricted is not a shotgun and therefore is a firearm and is therefore subject to Section 1 and an FAC. What happened in 2017 was that there were various amendments to the firearms law which further added to the confusion because of the words that they used. Within a particular reference of that amendment, the words rifles and shotguns were used, and people were taking that to mean Section 1 shotguns. As I've just said in black and white, the word shotgun does not mean Section 1 shotgun, it means Section 2. So it was referring to rifles under Section 1 can be shared, and shotguns under Section 2 can be shared. The other confusion with the word firearm is that it can be used to define Section 1 on its own, so anything under a Section 1 firearm certificate is considered a firearm, but also the word firearms can be used to define every gun under Section 1, Section 2, Section 5, 7, 3. And really you have to nail down exactly what they are meaning when they say firearm, and obviously what they are exactly meaning when they say shotguns. Now, I have heard of accounts that people have checked with their local police force, and their police force have said, yep, go ahead, share your Section 1 shotguns, it's okay. What I have to point out, it wouldn't be the first time that the police have misinterpreted the firearms law. I've experienced it myself, and I've experienced it with many other shooters. It is incredibly complicated, it is incredibly confusing, as I'm sure you're getting the gist of now. And you really need like dedicated legal experts or experts on firearms law to really pick through and define the meaning of what the law says. So if the police have said to you that you can share it, and you were to then share the guns and use them under clubs, technically you wouldn't be doing anything wrong because you've had the blessing of the police. If the police suddenly change their mind and decide to try and prosecute you in a court of law, you can just say to the judge, well, I was only doing what the police told me, and it certainly covers your ass and probably make the police look quite bad. However, I cannot recommend that anybody under any circumstances shares Section 1 shotguns or long-barreled pistols, because my interpretation is that it's not allowed under law, and you would be in breach of the law and therefore could be prosecuted and even be imprisoned for it. But also we've been in contact with Adrian Whiting, and Adrian has helped me personally. He helps out Alex here at Blue Field Sports navigating the laws and really understanding it, but he really is a foremost expert on firearms law. He has been involved in writing the guidance and writing the law, and has also been involved in a number of inquiries around firearms. And funny enough, Adrian and I have actually appeared in a video together. It was the BBC 2 documentary I did with Benjamin Zand, and there's a clip where he appears actually within one of these inquiries and giving his professional and expert opinion. Now, Adrian has picked through all of this, and like from my own experience, he knows the law like the back of his hand anyway, but he's really picked through what we've sent him and what we've asked him, and he has definitively said there is nothing in UK firearms law which would allow you to share a Section 1 shotgun or a long-barreled pistol. And really, I have to take Adrian's word on that. I believe him more than I believe the police. I think more than anybody, love for it to be the case that you could share it. And I've even attacked this and looked at this in a way that I'm looking for the exemption. I'm looking for the way in firearms law for it to be true, and I cannot find it. And Adrian, who's a sort of an avid shooter, helps many different clubs and many different businesses. He is completely pro shooting and pro gun. He's looked at it in that way as well, and he just cannot find anything. So I just wanted to get it out there because it is incredibly important. If you've been told you can share one, you can't. I'm really sorry, but you can't. You will be in violation of the law and could end up in serious trouble. So be very, very careful. If you're looking at getting into practical shotgun, you have to start with a Section 2, unfortunately, if you don't have an FAC. Section 2 is not the end of the world. It's still what I shoot. I have incredible fun, and it is still very good training before you get up to a Section 1 unrestricted. You're still learning how to plan a stage, you're still learning how a competition works, you're getting the gun shouldered properly, all the different shots that you're likely to take from standing, kneeling, prone, whatever. You can still practice that with a Section 2. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always, guys, I hope to see you soon.